What's so special about Belleair in itself, besides the Donald Ross history, is the topography that it's on. So this is so uncommon for Florida in general, but particularly for Central to South Florida. And so we want anything that we do here as a club should really celebrate the topography. What's happening is that 6 moves, this hole, the tee shot slightly moves, and the pond goes away. Now what happens is then that we would use that pond there for the irrigation. Okay, so it's just getting relocated. Now, ends up that in the best scenario, how we take advantage of that is that think about when you're driving up or playing number 4. Now 4 used to be somewhat elevated. Now when I say somewhat elevated, if you look at the old drawings, it used to be about that high, maybe 4 feet, okay? Not 6 or 7 feet. When you're teeing off on number 4, right now, if you would drive back to number 4 tees and you teed off, you're looking out over the green, what do you see? The sky? You should be looking at nothing but water. As much water as you can possibly see. You should be standing on that tee just saying, holy cow, wow, look at this. I mean, you think about how exciting, for example, number 7 is at Pebble Beach for anybody who's seen or played that golf hole. Right now you're talking about some of the most famous golf holes in the entire world, and you have that opportunity here. Yeah, and so all of a sudden now we start talking about opening up the views and removing the vegetation from the creek and seeing the bay on holes 1 and 2 and 3 and now 4, 5, 6. This is your 7th hole now. So you're seeing this water, 18. right, and even 18. So you're seeing this water in play. And again, what's nice about it is that you're sort of building into a crescendo, if you will, especially on the front 9 here, like this. So I mean, you see it when you start, and you keep getting closer and closer and closer. I mean, until finally you've got 2 greens, which are actually right on the water now. So if you're looking at your plan right now, you would be looking at 12 west, okay, because it's a little bit different numbering system. So 12 west and 10 west and then 9, okay, because you'll notice now that 9 and 12 are being lengthened a little bit, okay, and number 10 is being lengthened as well, all right, per this plan, okay, because we've freed up some space now because your, what's the par 3 that's being replaced here? So 12, right?
Yes.
Being replaced. So that's the one now that goes out on the water, okay? So we remove the par 3 over here. So now with that extra space, we're actually able to keep the same playing directions, the same sort of footprint, if you will, but we can lengthen those holes out. Dana made a good point when we walked up here. He says, you know, it's a good point to talk about the view of the bay from the 18th hole. All right, so here we're standing on the 18th tee. And you notice how number 4, how high that is? And then even where the lake would be, the dam behind it. So you'd be standing on all of these tees all the way right here. And especially with most of those trees thinned out, your view would be absolutely panoramic. All the way from left to right. We'd have a wonderful view of the water standing on the 18th tee. We've been working on permitting all along the way. So we have a very strong engineering team that's in place, environmental engineers, hydrologists. So we've got people that are looking at water tests, soil tests, and everything in between. So again, we've been studying the types of grasses. As a matter of fact, the area that you saw out to the right of number 3, sort of in the corner there, 3 and 4, those are actually different testing greens. So what Andy and I did is that we went through and we actually built a number of different types of greens construction, and then certain grass, and then they're actually one's irrigated with fresh water, the other one's irrigated with effluent, so treated water. So depending upon which avenue we might have to go. So we're studying to see what types of greens construction and what types of grasses are actually going to respond better for this exact microclimate. So again, an enormous amount of planning in detail. So we have a very high level of confidence and trust in what we're doing. And so hopefully that translates to all of you as well. You should be very, very comfortable with where we're at with that. And we looked at all sorts of different things, but in the end, the solution that we felt was best was actually to reverse this and to play this as number 1. And so the tee shot would go out more or less in line with this fairway. And then your second shot would actually go over the creek. all right, to a new green location. Now again, let's talk about celebrating topography. So it grades in very, very well. Would make a wonderful starting hole. When we look at the possibilities that are over here, is that yes, you still have some terrain that we could take advantage of, but this should actually, this should be a very fun golf course. It's not going to be nearly as long as a West golf course. You don't have that space. Okay, we can't do that. But for those of you that want more yardage, on this plan, this proposed plan, it's actually longer. Okay, if you're playing the quote members tees, for the men that are in a group right here, and you're not playing all the way at the back, you're playing it at 59 and change right now. Okay, you could play it up to 6,200 yards on the current plan. Regardless of whether those practice facilities become really what is shown on here or not, this golf course, to make it anywhere close of an experience as to what the West course would be, would need significant change. So then the question then becomes is that, if we're going to do that, why not do it to where we get both?
Where you get what?
Both. Better practice facilities and the better East golf course. You can see where it says 18 East, you can sort of orient it, all right, the way that we're standing. So to give you an idea of where the new number 1 East would be, all right, it would be just over, basically just short of that bunker. All right, you see where the green box is? That's an irrigation control box. So one green would be sitting over and sort of in that space right there. Okay, so when you think about how that hole gets reversed, okay, so your tee shot would be over this, to the left of this large clump of live oak trees, and then you'd be playing over to the green location there. So that would be one. You would come across, go through your route, and then come here, and then this would be the 18th hole then.